Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your very first gameplay of the T-34-85 Partisan. Well, very first gameplay, unless you've already played the T-34-85, as this is pretty much the same thing, or unless you've unlocked this specific vehicle, which is very likely that you did so before me, as I'm kind of getting it a bit late. Whoops. Now that being said, the Partisan is basically the standard T-34-85, except it has some nice decorations, some nice decals, and is also the most highly detailed T-34 currently in War Thunder. As you can see here around the turret, you have some of these marks there. You have a really nice machine gun port right here, whereas if you look at the standard T-34-85, it looks a bit different. The machine gun port's a bit worse in my opinion. The turret ring, just the standard turret, really isn't quite as detailed. So going to the Partisan, it just looks so nice. And also, if you look at the end of the barrel as well, I mean, there's just enough details here that the Partisan has. But if you guys don't get the Partisan, they will be updating the standard T-34 models throughout the game with the next major update, so it's a really good thing, being that every T-34 and hopefully a whole bunch of other vehicles will get a nice new coat of paint. That being said, the Partisan is basically the same as the standard T-34-85, except it lacks add-on armor, as you can see here, but the add-on armor with the 85, the standard one, is just tracks. They don't really do anything, and this one even has some tracks in random places anyways, so you kind of get the same effect, just a little bit less, but it really doesn't matter all too much. That's not going to affect survivability or mobility in any noticeable way. Otherwise, this has a decent enough armament, the BR-365K with nearly 150 millimeters of armor pen at max, good TNT equivalent of 77 grams. You also have the 365, the standard, which is more than double the explosive equivalent, but it does have around 15 millimeters worse of armor pen. In my opinion, the K is a bit better for most situations, although the standard BR-365 does come out on top a bit when it comes to angling, and also again that explosive filler equivalent, which is essentially post-pen damage. But for my money, most of the time the BR-365K kind of helps me out a little bit more. I feel a bit more comfortable with it. Then of course you have APCR, which don't look at the armor pen because that makes it look a lot better than it is. It will ricochet, shatter, and barely do any post-pen damage if it even gets through in the first place. Right before we get into a few matches here, I just want to mention that my channel will be undergoing quite a few changes in the next few months. I haven't really told anybody. You guys are the first to hear, because basically life is just getting a bit faster, so I'm not really able to make nearly as many videos as I used to, so I'll probably be switching to a longer form of video, so maybe like more guides, maybe like tech tree overviews. I really like doing that, things of that nature, whereas, you know, just doing reviews all the time, while I will still do reviews, it gets really tough, you know, and so I'll be doing longer form videos, and also the really quick videos too, like the quick hits where it's like news and whatnot. That way I can still keep like pretty much all my old content. In fact, actually, this will be going back to my older content in which I did more guides. So this will hopefully be able to balance out my work-life balance a bit better, because this isn't my job, and you know, my uncle had once said in relation to playing guitar, if it becomes work playing guitar, then you're not playing it anymore. In much the same way, I don't want this to become work, so I'm just going to switch things up a bit. And also thank you guys for watching this whole time. It really means the absolute world to me, and for supporting my channel. If this is your first time watching me, for whatever reason watching this video in particular for the first time, you know, still thank you so much for watching this video. And also thanks to everybody on Discord, especially the mods. I don't get on Discord really at all. I pretty much just minimize it right when I get onto my computer. So I mean, you guys have been running it so well. I appreciate everything. But that being said, let's get into a few matches here and have a good time. Oh, whoops. I didn't even realize I was recording. Anyways, sorry, I've been out of recording gameplay for so damn long. Hope you guys don't mind. Anyways, we shot that Hetzer right underneath. We got its jelly bits, so to speak. I don't know what the hell that means, but it means something. We're gonna keep on moving up here, though. I mean, like, pretty much, I'd say this vehicle, even more than something like the Sherman, is just a very well-balanced vehicle at this BR, right? It's got good, very good mobility, good enough cannon. It's not absolutely amazing by any means, but it's good enough. Ooh. Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, that's what I was hoping for. This is not what I'm hoping for, though. Okay, that's what I was hoping for. And we have ourselves a kill. So the armament on this thing is good. It's very good in many instances. Not amazing, but it's definitely workable. I thought I saw him right there, but you know what? I'm not even going to bother. It's definitely a very workable armament. It's got good post-pen damage, which is really what I would say most people probably need at this BR. It's got good enough armor pen where it's like, if you know the weak spots of a tank, you're going to do okay with it. And, of course, like I said, that mobility is just so great. Even though it's only got like a 15.5 horsepower per ton power-to-weight ratio, it definitely feels a bit better than that. Like, it outperforms its power-to-weight ratio by a pretty decent margin. So it really has a lot going for it. The only thing it really doesn't have is armor, but its armor really isn't so bad where it's unusable. I'm fine if we get an assist there. I'm always fine for an assist. That's my opinion, and we have ourselves the kill. Not bad. What is that, 3 or 4 kills? Thus far, we have ourselves some jabronis over there. Gotta be careful on this side. I heard some firing, some shots being fired. The thing with this armor, and one thing I feel like a lot of people kind of underestimate regarding this, is that it is very well angled. Does he see me? Well, if he did, it didn't matter. The armor is very well angled. And so, while it isn't thick, I think it's like 45. Maybe I'm thinking of like older models. But it's not very thick, but if you have it done correctly, if you have it angled properly, you can get yourself a good amount of angled shots. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into another match. 4 kills, 1 assist in about 4.5 minutes of a match. Not too bad. Not terrible. Not great. But a decent way to start. In my opinion, like I think I said in the first match, this vehicle has just such good mobility, relatively speaking. And so, like, you are able to actually outflank the enemy pretty well. Kind of like what I'm doing to this Tiger right here. Get myself a nice bead on him. Pull up a little bit more because that terrible cannon depression. And then there we go. And then we also have this Panther tank that doesn't look like he is really paying attention. Went right through the front end of that. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, this guy is AFK. Okay, and we have ourselves a second kill fairly easily. Looks like that's a tank right beyond that hill. Can I? Ooh, I can! Ooh. Any hoodles. We're going to keep on moving on because I don't feel like sniping these people out. But we did do some pretty decent damage to the enemy team thus far. Can't complain. Okay. Is this guy also AFK? And we have ourselves the kill. Not too shibby-dibby-dabby. Again, I mean, like, the armament isn't bad so long as you know enemy weak spots. Okay, that's bad, though. Oh, okay. Yep, that's not good. Well, of course I'm not going to be able to beat a Jagdtiger. What the hell? From the front of all things? He's pretty much impenetrable compared to this thing. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. It's called revenge, son. Revenge. Hell yeah. Take out that other track. Oh, damn, son. Okay. And we have ourselves a kill. So we had an assist against the Waffentiger, the Jagdtiger, because I destroyed the, whatchamacallits there is cannon, tracks. And now we also have a flak bus kill. That's what I'm talking about, guys. And so, like, when it comes to this vehicle in particular, really, the T-34-85 in general, right? Like, you can't, I would say, like, you really can't rely on its armor all the time. It's not going to be effective versus a lot of vehicles. It's always an up tier, this thing. So many of the vehicles that you'll end up having to fight are just, they have freaking sledgehammers for cannons. And the armament, quite honestly, you have to know where enemy weak spots are. They're just, it's not outright the best armament in the game. especially relative to BR. There's just a lot of flaws with it. So, you really have to know... Ooh, look at that. We have ourselves a Panther A kill. A lot of assist here. So, in general, use the mobility of this vehicle to your advantage. Ooh, did not realize I was that close. Use the mobility of the T-34-85 to your advantage. Use its armament. I would say it's got a decent enough armament where it's usable. Use that to its advantage as much as you can. Try to learn enemy weak spots, because that's really how you're going to be able to maximize it. And realistically speaking, even the standard BR-365 with the lower amount of armor pen, but much higher explosive filler equivalent, it's totally usable too. You know, I misspoke a bit in the intro. You can definitely use it. I just prefer the slightly more guaranteed pen, because more often than not I'm fighting these enemies head on. Thus, I'm not really seeing such extreme angles that would benefit the standard BR-365. But either way, very good vehicle. Just use mobility in conjunction with the firepower, and occasionally you'll be able to bounce some shells too, except, of course, not versus the Yaktiga. That said, let's get into one final match, see how we do. And you might be wondering to yourselves also, Tankenstein, you're not doing incredibly well. It's like, yeah, I'm doing okay. Not bad. You know, I can't really complain. 4 kills, 3 assists, somewhere in the middle. This is really just kind of one of those more fun videos, and this is kind of what you can expect from a T-34-85 Partisan. So if you decide that you want to buy it for whatever reason on the marketplace, remember that. Oh, also, this is a rank 3, whereas the standard T-34-85 is a rank 4, which is so stupid. Gaijin, why are you doing this to us? This should be a rank 4 as well. You'd be able to grind out through more of the tech tree. But either way, let's get into the final match. Okay, we have a Tiger there. Don't think he knows where I am. At least I'm hoping he doesn't know where I am. And he does not. That's why it pays to pay attention. Should always be paying attention, everyone. Doesn't matter what vehicle you're in. Tiger E, Tiger H, 1, I guess. Tiger Ost, Tiger West. Heavy tank number 6. Okay, I've got a tank over there. He definitely knows where I am. Almost definitely. Ooh, lucky us, huh? Somehow I got all that. And I also have a tank over to my right, I feel. I hear him. Yep, I do. It's another Tiger. Always pays to pay attention. Always. Should not have gotten that. That guy reacted way too silly. Not a good idea to react like that. I mean, like, yeah, sometimes making those sort of shots are good. And he didn't know, like, what my reload time was at, but still. Do we have an enemy down here somewhere? I can hear him. And now we have ourselves the kill. Triple kill. I'm going to probably die to my right, though. At least I would assume. We're not doing poorly. We're not doing poorly at all. We are mucking it up behind the enemy lines here. But, I mean, like I said, in general, when it comes to the T-34-85, pretty much any T-34, once you learn enemy weak spots, you can do pretty well. You know, like with the Tiger, for example, where you see that hole right there. Enemy weak spot. Like, blatant enemy weak spot. Okay. I do not hear anyone. I don't like just sitting around waiting for people to go in front of me. That's not really how I play. I'd rather die than just kind of do that all game. But, hey, to each their own, right? I think I hear an enemy, though. Okay, yep. If I actively hear an enemy, then yeah, I'm not just going to go ahead and jump in front of them. However, do I hear someone else? Yes. Oh, I was about to get the 6th kill. You know what? Let's go ahead and respawn. Man, it's like no one pays attention at this BR. It's just absolutely wild. Like, I'm not doing incredibly well, but I've got a base cap, 5 kills. You know, like, that's not a bad match. And half those kills were just from people who weren't even looking at me, who should have been paying attention. You know, like the first Tiger, for example, probably could have easily seen me if he wasn't just so laser focused on, what was it, the other T-34? Or somewhere around this part of the map. It's just, like, blatant things, man, that these people could easily fix. And they wouldn't die nearly as much. Okay, we have an enemy there. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God! They're... Of all things! Of all things for them to bring out the Storm Tiger. I haven't seen one of those in a millennium. Holy crud! He almost had me, too. I'm gonna probably die by something else, though. Probably. I can almost guarantee it. Okay, there he is. He cannot be reloaded by now. Ah! Man, that's so lame. Just because my vertical guidance speed sucks doesn't mean you have to go end yourself. Ah, farts. Well, that's just, you know, good sportsmanship here in, you know, in War Thunder. Okay, we do have an enemy or something down there, it looks like. Definitely one to my left. No, previously one to my left. Or it could have been someone that was just shooting down trees. Equally possible. But either way, I think this match is probably over. I've given way more commentary than I normally do, but this is also my first gameplay video in weeks, months. And it just feels like when I haven't done something like this in X amount of time, it almost kind of feels like it's brand new, you know, like I haven't ever done it. So it's like, the way I do things and all that constantly changes. I know I'm in their visible detection zone, whatever. I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to sweep over here. But, again, thanks guys for watching, you know, seriously. I know I'm not really making nearly as many videos as I used to. I appreciate all the support. I thought I would just be able to go right through. I appreciate all the support that you guys have always given me. All the views, everything. Okay, we have a PT something or the other. The turret traverse on this thing is actually not bad. I'm hoping I don't have to get... Okay, that's an enemy. There we go. We also have the PT... Woo! And there we go. We have another kill. I'm not gonna... You know what? I'm not gonna count that as being, like, too close to the enemy base. We're already at the end of the match here. Okay, that's a decent enough way to finish this off, I think. With 2 extra kills. Again, I don't want to just sit here and do whatever and just be like, oh, we're waiting for the enemy to walk by. And 'cause that kind of sucks. That's a crappy way to play. But again, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Like, seriously, it always means the world to me. Every single view, every comment, every like, every dislike, and every, you know, negative comment even. It's all worthy of you know, being paid attention to, and I appreciate all of it, because even like a lot of the negative criticism and all that I look at, you know, and I base a lot of how I improve my videos on that. So again, thanks so much guys. Match is over. I don't care if I'm in the enemy detection zone. These people had the entire match to do better, and they have not. This is on them. I'm about to die here, but that's totally fine. Ooh, we have another kill versus probably the same guy. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching. I know this outro has been going on forever, but I will see you all on the other side. Party on, everyone.